goddamn.
Hi, you fucking sexy goddamn raisinette motherfuckers. Holy shit. Do you like popcorn? We do. Welcome back to We Watched a Movie. I'm Jay, that's Mike, and today we're going to be bringing you the fucking spoiler of League of Justice. But guess what? We're not excited. We're excited. But we're not super excited. I mean, my fucks.
It was a mixed bag, Joe.
What happened?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton, a very mixed bag. So, this one starts out.
I think they might pull it out.
This one starts out, and it's basically, you know, you saw in the trailer, Ben Affleck goes to put the team together. He's gonna go get Aquaman first, get on the king tide.
Yeah.
And first off, in the first part of that, Ben Affleck looks badass.
He does.
He's got the beard.
Great.
He looks like he's fucking there, man, and I'm into it. And this is the Ben Affleck that we both thought was the best Batman of all time from Batman vs Superman when he goes to recruit Aquaman. Because again, Batman doesn't have any special powers, but he goes to these people in this place, and Aquaman's like, fuck you gonna do it? And he's like, I don't give a shit about nothing.
Yeah, Aquaman's trying to be all badass with him too. He's like, I'll give you $25,000 if you tell me, or if you let me know where the Aquaman is, this guy that comes in on the king tide, I'll give you $25,000. He's like, stop it, cat. Fuck you. He was like, and it was like basically saying in the subtitles, he's gonna give it to me anyway. And Ben Affleck like, what? He's like, you work out? Motherfucker, have you seen my body? Like, but anyhow.
You saw my butt cheeks in BVS?
Yeah, so.
I just want you to know, if I'm getting in there, I spread my butt cheeks. Playboy magazine.
That's okay.
Under the name Hancho. But no, Jason Momoa's all drunk. He's like, you're dressed like a bat. I don't give a fuck.
He's like, you know, what you saw in the trailer is exactly what he is. He's a surfer dude. Like, he's got that surfer attitude anyhow. And you know, when Batman's, after it's revealed that Arthur Curry is Jason Momoa or whatever, and they're walking outside and he's revealing, he's like, look, I need your help. These motherfucking boxes are coming in. And the motherfucker wants to have a unity with his mom. That seems great.
1, 2, 3 lockbox.
And, you know, they want to have a unity, but it's bad for us. And he's like, I don't like you. And he's like, why? He's like, because you come up here digging in my shit. Like, he's basically like, he says like, because you come up in here and you're like trying to dig through my past. I don't like you. He's like so dismissive. He's like, I don't even like you. And then he like walks in the water. He's like, so you gonna let the world burn? And he was like, yeah. I mean, I don't care.
Look at Fireball commercial.
Like,
like, fuck it.
He just didn't give a fuck. So that went south really quick for Bruce Wayne.
And him and Wonder Woman are already kind of working together, as you saw from the end of the movie. So they're talking about how they're going to bring these people together. And her whole tie-in to him is kind of cool because if you look at Wonder Woman, she's like, at some point in the film, she's like, I got upset about Steve. I'm sorry, Steve. I got upset about what happened to Steve. And I laid back in the darkness. I wasn't ready to be a leader. And Ben Affleck, he did the cool Batman thing. Even though there's millions of problems with what happened with Ben Affleck and Batman in this movie, he did do a couple cool Ben Affleck things, or Batman things, whereas he was not afraid to be the asshole of the group. He's not afraid to be the black sheep,
he is an asshole.
Dick face, to get people to do what's necessary. He's not the hero we want, he's the hero we need.
Well,
and he is that a couple times in this movie.
I think specifically what you're talking about is there is a conversation that goes on about how Bruce needs to let things go. And he's like, fuck that. He was like, do you not remember your ex-boyfriend Steve and you disappeared for like a century? So who are you to tell me?
She hit him in
and
the
then she hits him right in the fucking nipple. And he's like, oh.
You know, he was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, but
and then later on in the movie, he was like,
yeah, but that's like a conversation that you would have with your girlfriend or wife, and then she's punched. She's like, "Cause you know I'm right, right? That's why you hit me, cause you know I'm right." And but it did feel like that. But after the Momoa scene, he goes after Ezra Miller and the Flash, and Ezra Miller is he's good. I like Ezra Miller. I definitely think that for me, he felt like he brought most of the audience in as far as like an anchor, like a Winston to the Ghostbusters kind of way, because he was green as fuck. He didn't know anything about anything as far as crime fighting goes. And even, you know, that scene in the trailer where he's like, I just push people. You know, he really is like that. He's scared of everything. He's never done this kind of thing before on this scale. And they're all ready and pumped, and he's like all scared and nervous. But the main thing about him, there is a sad story about him. I guess if you guys have watched the TV show, you know his dad's in prison for killing his mother. And he always visits him because he knows that he didn't kill him. And actually, who killed his mother was Reverse Flash.
Yep.
But either way, that was a cool scene to see, but he gets so pumped and excited, and that's what I like, because I think anybody like you, me, or anybody else would be so fucking excited to be on this team, and that's what he is basically. And you know, that whole thing about you're in my second favorite chair. That whole scene plays out pretty much as the trailer showed it.
And Billy Crudup does a good job as his dad.
Yeah,
what I liked most about Ezra Miller as the Flash is I can't talk to that. We'll get some donuts later if you take me to the supermarket.
I'm not gonna take you to supermarkets now.
But I like-
you just put a curse on my fucking family with your
What I love about Ezra Miller in this movie, though, is the main thing they did different from him, from the TV Grant Gustin Flash, is in this, he's not just like, in that, when they do that thing with the CW, like, they have to make him likable and, like, girls to be into him and stuff like that. In this, Ezra Miller was a social outcast. He didn't know how to deal with people. He didn't know how to talk to them. And he mentioned that.
He didn't even know what brunch was.
It reminded me of Quicksilver's character in the X-Men movies that they did so well with Evan Peters, because he's like, most people just bore the fuck out of me because they can't keep up.
I'm glad you mentioned Grant Gustin because a lot of people got really pissed off that Grant Gustin wasn't invited to be the Flash, a part of the DC cinematic universe.
I'm glad he wasn't.
Look, Grant Gustin's character. I like the Flash TV series in its way. Like, it's okay, but Grant Gustin cries every 5 seconds, and he's really like emotionally fucking fucked up. And I get what they're going with that, but then he's also comes off as corny and. Look, Ezra Miller, to me, when I was watching it, he just seemed like an everyday kind of guy that got these fucking superpowers that's kind of geeky and didn't know really how to react to it. Like, I think he portrayed that part really well as a super duper nerd that got these great powers and like, oh my god, you're fucking Batman. Like, he's doing it well beyond what he could have been doing. He could have just cashed it in.
He had some amazing moments in the film. Let's talk about like the little moments that he had, because we won't go piece by piece of the film because it's just way too simple. But with him, he had this ongoing thing with Superman. When Superman eventually comes out, we'll talk about that. But when they were all fighting each other and shit like that, like they would slow motion and like they played off of who's faster, the Flash or Superman, a lot and made a joke.
That was cool.
It was awesome.
I like that.
At one point, they're actually fighting, and it's a spoiler review, so you know this. But he's like, they're making those faces at each other. Superman's like in pissed off, like killer Superman mode, and Ezra Miller's like, whoa. Well, but Superman's like, what the fuck?
As we know, when the Flash imbibes the Speed Force, he's fast as fuck. Like, he's faster than light.
Yeah.
And there was always that thing that in the comic books that Superman could always, his super eyesight could keep up with the Flash. He's the only person that could do it. So the Flash wasn't used to that. He'd never come up against Superman in his life.
He's making that stupid mouth breather face.
So when Aquaman and Cyborg and all them are pinning Superman down, we'll get to that, but they're pinning Superman down, and the Flash, like, in his mind, like, I'm gonna go behind this motherfucker with my super speed and like hit him in the back of the head. He's running, and then Superman like looks at him, and he's like, this fucking goofy face. He's like, oh, he's like, you can see me, and then Superman turns. That was a cool scene, and he brings up Pet Cemetery, which you gotta love the horror nod, because there's one part where Wonder Woman is like, after they bring Superman back, they're like, she's like, he doesn't remember who he is, like, Pet Cemetery.
That was one of the best laughs.
Yeah, I mean, it was great.
But he does, for me, I think we disagree on this, but I think he makes too many fucking jokes. Like, some points in the movie, and this is kind of the movie in a nutshell, some points in the movie he cracks a joke and it's fucking hilarious and it makes you feel giddy inside as a kid. But then there's other points where it's just like, will you just shut the fuck up for 5 seconds? Like, because a couple of them are like dad jokey, kind of awkward, cheesy, not funny jokes for me. But that's his character, and then at the end of the movie, one of the mid-credit scenes is really great. You know what? If you're gonna say something, let's say this. That scene, mid-credit scene, it was better than Marvel's mid-credit scenes right? They race.
They did. Superman and Flash kind of settled the debate, or they wanted to, about who would win in a race. I mean, we don't get to see it all the way. That's the first credit scene.
It's like Rocky and Apollo at the end of Rocky 2, when it's like, ding, ding.
And it's like, like they both hit each other. We don't know who won that fight, but it was still a good little scene. Yeah. And that's always been an ongoing thing, I think, in DC, who's faster. But Ezra Miller, I think Ezra Miller does a great job with the Flash. I think he definitely embodies what they were going for. I mean, Barry Allen, you could have wrote him older, that he's kind of experienced now, but this motherfucker's not even really taken on crime yet in Central City. He's just still learning his powers, and he even tells, in the trailer, he's talking about how he's scared of insects, he's scared of drowning, he's scared of all this stuff. He's really like fucking whatever, and he's like, I just push people away, and that scene made more sense outside of the trailer.
I love how socially awkward he is.
That's perfect.
That's way better to me than this adorable little cute but quiet Grant Gustin CW series. So let's talk about big elephant in the room. What happens with Superman?
Okay, so Superman. I love Brandon Routh in this movie. Brandon Routh comes back and really nails it when he comes back to life.
It's my favorite part of the movie.
So Superman, so everybody was wondering, are we going to get the black suit? No. Unfortunately, we don't get the black suit, which does kind of fucking put a big old dick in your face. But either way,
didn't they have scenes like? Didn't they have pictures of him on set wearing the fucking black suit?
I think that the scene that we saw, I don't know. I think somebody could have released those scenes where they dialed out the fucking color and just made it look like that. Because there are scenes in the beginning of the movie where you see the black drape with the silver shield.
Let me just for 1 second before we get into it. Let me just bitch because everything I have to say about Superman in this movie is positive as fuck. This movie had a million issues and it was disappointing as hell.
You could fucking have sex with it.
But the Superman shit was fucking amazing shit. Amazing fruit. Except for this. And it goes back to, and we both love Batman vs. Superman, but it goes back to that. The death of Superman is my favorite comic book story of all time.
It's great.
And I'm hyped to object to the tits that they touched on that in Batman vs. Superman, but again, it was like a small part of a story. You should take the fucking death of Superman and make that 2 goddamn movies.
You could have made that.
What I would have done with Superman, it's rushed too.
Well, what I would have done with the death of Superman is because you're right. It could have 2 or 3 movies, just because you got the reign of Superman after that. You've got all these other characters that are introduced. You could have expanded that. I would have done the Justice League first and then pushed the Doomsday thing way later. But either way. We don't get the black suited Superman, which I really was looking forward to seeing it, but we didn't get that. What we got was what Batman decides to do with the rest of the Justice Leaguers after Steppenwolf comes down and plays, a magic carpet ride for everybody. He's like, we're fucked. He knows. Batman knows, and this goes back to Ben Affleck. When the uneven times that Ben Affleck is doing a good job portraying Batman as the asshole, because I think that Batman is always the asshole in the group of Justice League, so that actually made sense. When he's like, I don't care if you disagree with me, we need this motherfucker, and we're going to use this mother box to bring back Superman, because this has got untapped, well beyond our fucking science to bring him back. And Wonder Woman's against it, Aquaman's against it, but Cyborg's for it, and Flash is kind of like on the fence. That scene, when they take his body, they dig his ass up, which is kind of. There's one thing
it's a good character building scene.
I do. Cyborg. Yeah, they're digging him up like this, and the Flash is like, do you think it's weird that I'm not using my super speed to dig him up faster? And then Cyborg's like, yes. And he's like, but don't you feel weird? Yeah. This is weird. And he tries to do the whole fist bump thing. And he's like, oh, we're not there yet, so I get it. But so they dig his body up and they take him to the Kryptonian ship.
They basically, in a nutshell, they use one of Steppenwolf's 1, 2, 3 lockbox to do what Jesse Eisenberg did to bring Doomsday about. But
there was a really cool scene when they figure out that the ship was damaged and Luthor's bringing about Doomsday, so they can't use it to charge the box. But yet, if Flash can build up enough speed, if they can drop the box right before it hits the water and he can generate enough electricity, he can charge it, and that's what he does. And then Superman opens his fucking eyes, and dude, this is where, when he comes back to life,
best scene of the fucking movie.
It's amazing. It's fucking shot so well, and it really pumps you up. I mean, dude, beyond what I thought I was going to get pumped up with.
It saved the movie, dude. Dude, this movie was like hopping around on one leg at that point. Like, what the fuck? So, and that scene, dude, was so. Fuck, it was as good as anything.
It's like if you're eating a steak and it's bland, but when you get to the middle, you're like, this is fucking A1 in this bitch! God! But yeah, it really did. And Superman comes back to life and he goes to the monument. The first thing he does, he flies up and goes to the monument. And then he's like trying to figure out where because he doesn't know what's going on. He looks around and there's the Flash, there's Cyborg, there's Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. They're all just standing there looking at him like, do you see my costume? And he's like scanning them.
Party City.
Because he's still
on sale now.
He looks like a guy that has been drinking for at least 6 days and doesn't remember where he's been. And he's trying to figure out who they are. And he's like scanning them. And Aquaman's getting all fucking tense and shit. And then Cyborg's like, lower your fucking temperature. You're getting hostile. He's like, I can't help it. He's fucking scanning me. And then Cyborg's costume or his suit reacts defensively because he's being scanned. He's like, I can't stop it. So as soon as he accidentally starts firing a shot at Superman, like Cyborg attacks Superman, he thinks they're enemies, and then he starts fucking them up. The entire Justice League.
Oh my god!
And then when Batman shows up, awesome. I don't know why Batman thought he was going to have any kind of movement.
But I like that Batman showed up late. Like everybody else is there and all this shit happening. Then like 10 minutes later, Batman pulls it. He runs up. He's like, "What I missed?"
And then he looks at him. He's like, "Oh shit!" He's like, "Clark?" And then Superman is like, "I remember you." And then dude, this is where it gets really intense because he picks up, he slams Batman into a fucking car.
After he's used his laser beams on everybody else.
Yeah, he slams Batman into a car, and this is after the scene where he sees the Flash and fucks him up too, and he picks him up, and he's like, "You can't let me live, or you won't let me live, and you won't let me die." And then he's like grabbing, he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "The world needs you." He's like, "But the world doesn't need you." And he's like, "Do you bleed?" And he pulls him close. I'm like, God
Dude,
damn,
fucking
that's
amazing.
poetry.
That shit got me going.
The goosebumps were all the way down to the toes.
Again, this whole fucking steak portion of the movie just saved the film at that point for me. I fucking loved it. It was one of the best things I've ever seen in a superhero movie. I loved it so goddamn much.
And the thing about that whole scene is like there's theories and rumors going around. I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody said that this was the Injustice universe. That Superman was actually going to go evil at some point, and when he was holding Batman, he's like, "The world doesn't need you," because Batman was always the one that was against Superman, because Superman wanted to control the world at that point, because he's like, "I can control all evil if I just control the humans." And that whole fucking scene, I felt like I was watching a live action Injustice movie, and then Lois saves him. And what I liked was that Lois is still alive, and when she comes out, because that's the big guns, like, he had a backup. Batman always has a backup. He was like, he tells Alfred, he's like, "Bring in the backup."
What's cool, though, because it's typically like a kryptonite piece or
and
something like that. And he mentions, because if you know the Justice League, Batman has schematics for everybody on how to stop them if they go rogue. And they mention that several times, and it's really cool. But yeah, instead of it being kryptonite this time, he gets Lois out of the car, and she does God's getting real low, big guy.
Yeah, pretty much. She's like, "Stop." And he's like, "Stop what? I haven't done anything yet." But yeah, she calms him down. But what I was thinking about is like that scene in Batman vs. Superman when the Flash ran back in time. He's like, "You were right about him.
Yeah,
she's the key." So
there's something brewing.
I mean, something's going on. Like maybe
there's some pink slime running underneath the city.
Flip City. Vigo, you motherfucker.
Forgot about Vigo, the master of evil. Try to battle my boys.
That's not legal.
Oh! Didn't know it. Didn't know it.
Grab our part-time backs off the back and we're strapped.
Dance!
But anyhow, there's something, yeah, you're right. And you know what? This movie wasn't as good as it could have been, but maybe we're going to get something really fucking amazing later on, because if they go, I would go with that. Look, Injustice is a great fucking story, and you know what? DC is so crazy right now. They can do whatever they want. They're not fucking under a bunch of weight to do a Disney thing. Yeah. They can do what they want.
So disappointing about this movie is it pretty much brought all my fears to life, man. Because there's moments like the one we just talked about that were so great and so good, and then but I was worried they were going to try to do the Marvel thing, and they did. It just feels like two different versions colliding into one. And you mentioned it before in the other review, the Joss Whedon versus Zack Snyder maybe mixing awkwardly. You can't pinpoint where it is or whose fault or who did this or who did that, but it's just weird. There's a ton of jokes that don't land. The editing is strange. There's a billion problems with it, and that brings us to Batman.
Well, I feel like it was Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan fighting. I can feel their fucking lightsabers crossing. But yes.
Ben Affleck is just fucking. We've talked about this before. Ben Affleck in Batman vs Superman, above even Michael Keaton, is our favorite Batman of all time.
This
is a totally different Batman. Like, he's badass at the start, but there's several scenes in this movie. It's just like Ben Affleck. We really think that he took, just like the movie did, he took the critics to heart and tried to change how he portrayed Batman. And it just comes off as like he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Benjamin, just be you, Ben.
And he looks strange. Like, every suit he wears looks really fucking weird. It just doesn't look right.
I know what it is, man. I just now thought of it. I think this is what it is. I think he's uncomfortable. Like, I feel like he's acting and he's doing a good job, because Ben Affleck's a great actor, and I think he's a great director, and he's a great writer. He's amazing. But I feel like he's uncomfortable. In certain scenes when they filmed it, I think he did the best take he could do. But you could like, maybe what's making us feel weird about it, and maybe some other people that are watching it feels like something's off, is he was totally uncomfortable with maybe that particular scene or how he was portraying Batman. Because I feel like he was feeling like forced in a box to do something he didn't want to do. Like, it didn't feel as natural or flowing. Like, when he was in Batman vs Superman, like, that felt like what he wanted to do. It felt like his baby that he was creating and doing something.
I feel like the bullshit critics got in his fucking head, man.
You can see that. Like, even, I mean, if they had done 90 takes, I mean, I don't know how many takes they did on certain scenes, but they got the best take they could get from him. And I'm not taking anything from Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck, to me, is the best Batman to ever exist on film. Like, down to the fucking bones. But I feel like in this movie, there's something missing. There's some kind of element that's missing from him. And you can see it. You can watch it and you can see it. Maybe it's because he's doing a bigger ensemble. Maybe we're overreacting. Maybe it's because there's a bigger cast involved. He's seen more. Like my brother and his friend, he said maybe because Batman is shown more, it kind of takes away from the mystique.
Well, I was going to say that we saw it with Cody, and he made a good point actually too. He's like, when you talk about the warehouse scene in Batman vs Superman, even action wise, is night and day from anything Batman does in this movie. And like, he has a couple good jokes. Ben Affleck still works as Batman, but Alfred's jokes fell flat like almost every fucking time. For somebody, Jeremy Irons is a great actor, and I've always thought he'd be a great fucking Alfred. But for someone who talks shit about Batman vs Superman after it came out and like kind of kicked dirt in its face while it was down, none of his lines landed at all in this film.
Well, I will say that I think that Jeremy Irons was ruined a little bit by the fact that the trailers kind of gave all his jokes away. Yeah. Like all his jokes.
J.K. Simmons was almost non-existent.
J.K. Simmons, again, a great Gordon. I just want to see more of him.
Better J. Jonah Jameson, though. I mean, for what we've seen.
But we don't know anything about. Gordon really wasn't a main point in this movie.
Real quick before we move on, I want to mention this about Superman because we won't go through every single thing in the movie because it's if it's a spoiler review, you guys have seen it. But just talking about the main parts of it. Back to Henry Cavill just for a second. It even opens with him just like on a found footage shot.
It was weird.
He looked strange. He looked strange, but there's Batman's strange like weirdness that doesn't fit. But somehow when you take Henry Cavill and you put his Superman in this light, it works. Like he looks strange. I don't know if because his sideburns shorter. I know his suit's brighter. But to me, all these people who bitched about Man of Steel, as great as as underrated as that movie is, and they bitched about how dark he was, and then his character in Batman vs Superman. And this, when he comes back to life, he's a little bit different. Yeah. And they do a cool scene where Aquaman actually mentions, he's like, when you die, you come back different. Everybody knows. It's in the Geneva Convention.
You have to do that.
I wouldn't believe if you told me it was going to happen. I'd be like, nah, it's bullshit. But he actually took Man of Steel and mixed it with Christopher Reeves and tied him into this. Superman's not scared. Like he's full aware of his abilities. He uses the frost breath at one point. He uses the laser eyes. He beats the fuck out of Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf's a bitch in his fucking fist.
That scene got me just as excited as when Hulk took Loki and slammed around like a fucking buttermilk pancake. Like this is the best to me. This is the best of both worlds of Superman. I can't talk enough about how much I love Superman in this goddamn movie.
I think that,
and I loved him in Man of Steel.
Yeah, I think that like again, Henry Cavill is Superman. Like there's no doubt about it. Like he fully embraced it in this movie.
He's like, I ain't dying this fucking time.
And I like the fact that he does intermingle and mix those things. And that's why he needs to give a big middle finger to everybody else. He's like, look, I could fucking have done that early on, but we wanted to establish something first and then tell my story and go from there. And to be honest, to be straight honest with you, Henry Cavill is the gel that holds this movie together. Like, Ben Affleck was the gel that really fucking made BVS the best it could be. He is the one that makes this movie so good. And now, is it because he's not on screen enough, or he's not screen? I think they underused him. I feel like
he had a confidence he's not had. He felt so comfortable in the role of Superman in this movie. Like he felt like Superman just got his balls. Yeah, it was crazy.
And but dude, he did a fucking phenomenal job. That guy deserves a fucking popsicle. Good for you. You suck that shit down.
And real quick mention, because we'll probably forget it because there's so much that happens. But Amy Adams is a badass fucking Lois Lane. She did a great job in this.
And Diane Lane.
Yeah, she was great.
The mom. Again, when Superman comes back to life and he rushes off with Lois Lane because she calms him down. She takes him back to their house and they kind of have this moment. So it's an emotional moment. It's a cool moment. But moving on from there,
let's talk about Cyborg.
Cyborg. Now listen, I like the guy that played Cyborg. I think a lot of people were worried about his blandness because in some of the interviews I've seen with him, I don't remember the actor's name.
Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher.
Does he fish a lot?
Ray Fisher.
He fishes a lot.
Came in on the king tide.
And he had a lot of fish. Ray Fisher, that loves Captain D's, he's one of those dudes that I think he does a really good job with the part that he was given. I think that you could have gone two different ways with Cyborg. Okay, you could have gone Teen Titans with Cyborg and made him all fun and I can't wait to get out there and use my gifts, or dark and brooding and
shrimp and prime rib.
I think they prime ribs are great. I think they mixed it in the middle just enough because he starts off brooding and he starts off like fucking mad at his dad Dyson. I don't remember. Fucking Dyson.
It's the shaky dude face from Terminator 2 who's got to hold the hand, but he drops his...
It's so weird. They cast that motherfucker that created Skynet. You motherfuckers. Do you know what you've done? But anyway, he's brooding and he's mad at his dad for bringing him back to life, maybe making him something different. And then eventually, after hooking up with the Justice League, he learns about some of his... I think it's always... Cyborg is always those guys that explores his humanity.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they have an intermixed both. I mean, he's still human. And there's one part where, he tells Wonder Woman, he's like, keep Merman away from me while I work. And he's doing a joke. But before that, he was always like, hesitant about being any... So I think the journey from what he started at in the movie to what he is in the end is actually done really well.
I think, dude, what I think with him is he's the Robert Horry of this movie. Whereas he's just a great role player. Like I think maybe Cyborg's underused. They didn't really do a lot with him, but he did a good job. I thought, as much as I love Cyborg, to me, dude, fucking take Cyborg and use practical effects on him. I mean, dude, do a RoboCop thing. It'd be so much more badass.
You could do that. You could do it.
But he was fine. He was fine, and I think he'll be fine as Cyborg. But you got him to say "booyah" at the end of the movie, which was cool. It's just to me, he was a little bit underused. But you got to have that role player who's going to take a step back with all this shit happening. And
that's fine. That's okay. I mean, we all can't have. Again, I'm going to throw it out one time. And again, we're DC supporters, motherfuckers, so just remember this. Avengers had 7 years for each character. They had at least a movie a piece for each of these characters. Which is
why we've always supported DC doing more one-shot type stuff, rather than trying to follow Marvel's footprint.
Iron Man had his movie, Captain America had his, Thor, etc., etc. And when they came together, it was, everybody knew who they were. So this one was really pushing it out there and be like, look, these guys have never had a single... I would love to see a Cyborg movie. I would think that would be amazing.
That's going to happen too. It's in the books.
And
the books!
But whatever. I think he's great. I think he's a good character. And now, Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot basically is hot as
But did you see that ass in those leather pants?
Wow.
Question of the day.
That should be a billboard.
This is for the guys and the ladies, because we all know women are beautiful. Let me ask you guys this. Gal Gadot in this film with those red rubber pants.
Fuck.
Versus
Take it off.
Versus Black Widow when she fights the Hulk in Avengers 1.
Gal Gadot hotter.
I'm talking about strictly butt cheeks.
Butt cheeks hotter on Gal Gadot.
I gotta give that one to
no.
Secret Black Widow.
Gotta go Gal Gadot.
The butt cheeks don't quit.
No. Them butt cheeks.
They were great.
The butt cheeks were fucking.
And I don't care if it's 2017 or not.
Screen.
That camera honed in on them butt cheeks at least twice.
Gal Gadot was.
She was great.
Okay. For us not being assholes right now, but Gal Gadot was fucking great. She continued her exploration and evolution of the character from Batman vs Superman. We had Wonder Woman, and now we had this.
I'm just tired of watching her fight in slow mo. Can we just watch her in action?
Well,
it's always a close up on our face going.
Okay, at the very beginning of the movie,
not her fault.
No, we saw the. You guys have seen the trailer where she burst through the fucking door. Well, okay, yeah. So she bursts through the fucking door, and she's doing, there's a bomb that's gonna go off in 20 seconds, and that cool.
That was her moment.
Bam, that cool music coming on. It was fucking great. It was great, and she's hot as fucking what? Why did you do that? Like, it makes you mad. It's like, God, why did you create women like this? Why did you make them that fucking hot? And I'm over here, and I can't even try. I feel like I need to go find Luke Skywalker. Like, you have no idea what you unleash.
Teach me.
Yeah, so, but she's great.
Dude, her best scene is her opening sequence, because they show her fighting and she's badass, and basically she's almost has like a healing factor on the members. When they get all bent out of shape, she's like, hey, calm the fuck down, and they're like, okay. Yeah. And then there's a moment with her and Ben Affleck where I thought, oh,
they're gonna get it on.
That scene, by the way, what the fuck was Ben Affleck wearing? I liked it because he goes back in the room and he's like, I'm just gonna go take a shit real quick. And he like walks away to his room and he pulls off his armor.
Too many burritos.
Dude, he looks like he's wearing shoulder pads from the 80s. He looks terrible. Like fucking terrible.
I actually think Cody.
He looks like he's wearing a fucking leotard.
No, I think Cody actually, my brother and his friend actually said it right. I think he was wearing Kevlar shit.
I get it, but you can still make it look cool. It's pretend. Make it look cool.
I mean, but it was like a rubber suit underneath. He looked
like an extra in Cats,
he was lifting his shirt up and it was all bruised. He's like,
I did like that. I like how bruised he was.
I was like, who's been beating you? Fucking Alfred?
But they share a drink together, and it's one of those moments where at first you're like, this is cool. Ben Affleck wants to, get with Wonder Woman, and Superman's into Lois Lane so it can happen. But the dialogue just goes.
Yeah, it didn't really work out. Now, I want to talk really quick because we did mention Wonder Woman. We'll get into Themyscira really fast. Themyscira does make an appearance, which we know that from the trailer. So the whole idea is these mother boxes were guarded by 3.
1, 2, 3 lock box.
So we had the Amazons guarding one, the Atlanteans guarding another, and the realm of men guarding the last. Very Lord of the Rings. For each person, a ring was given. Kind of like that. And one ring to rule them all, which was Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf comes down on Themyscira first, fucks them up hardcore. I'm not going to concentrate that much on Themyscira.
He eats their lunch. Yeah, let's get to the good shit.
Let's talk about Steppenwolf.
The great thing that comes out of that storyline, though, real quick, though, the 3 lockbox storyline, the great thing that really does come out of that is that when the war's happening in the past for the boxes, you do see the Green Lantern Corps.
And Shazam. I don't know if that's Shazam. You guys have seen it now. So
Captain Abs and Lightning Bolts.
That's got to be somebody. Like, is that fucking Zeus? Did Raiden come down? And by the way, I'm going to mention this really fast about Steppenwolf. I mean, I was alright with the CG about him, and I liked the guy that voice played him. I thought the voice play was good. I thought he was a good actor that did the voice. You weren't that fan of
fucking garbage.
You hated the CGI. But
I will say, like a garden gnome in the winter.
I will say one thing about him. He does remind me of Shao Kahn at the end of Mortal Kombat. He's like, you weak, pathetic mortals. You'll soul it. He does look like Shao Kahn.
Whoever made this fucking movie, I mean, we know who made the movie, but did you guys watch Suicide Squad? Did you see how shitty giant Goldar Shaq was? Why would you do the same fucking thing?
He wasn't wearing the
Granted, I'll tell you this. When I saw the deleted scenes or whatever at the end of Batman vs. Superman, as much as I fucking love that movie, when they were like, oh, it's Steppenwolf, he's the villain, I was like, fucking why? Like, dude, stop with the CGI overgrown goddamn Power Rangers villains.
The only good thing about Steppenwolf is Steppenwolf.
That gets a 0.
If you can move past the CG that you don't like,
his mouth didn't even match his words. He looked like a Call of Duty villain.
I liked it.
Oh,
I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
Fucking shit.
Well, I liked it for the most part, but I thought that the voice actor did good. The thing about Steppenwolf, he does mention Darkseid, which is what we all want to see. Mm-hmm. And he mentions a few other things about it. And
last thing about the villains is at the very, very end. It's after the credit sequence when you actually see. This is a cool villain thing. This movie sucked as far as villain goes. This is a cool villain thing because you see fucking Deathstroke walking up on it. They go to the jail and they're like, "Hey, quit jacking your fucking meat over there." Facebook
Luthor?
Guy, yeah, Lex Luthor, and then he's on a ship.
I will
like
tell you. You know what? I will fucking type in right now that you.
It says you're a dead fuck.
No, you smell like pee. Now I'm gonna post that to everybody.
And
I'm fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
Says you're a dead fuck.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Oh my shits. The first bonus scene, or that was the second bonus scene.
Yeah.
I thought, dude, because he looked all old. I was like, somehow he got aged and he turned around. I was like, it's gonna be Bryan Cranston.
That would've been dope.
It's gonna be Bryan Cranston.
But it was just some cracker.
Yeah, some fucking idiot moron. And then you see Deathstroke getting on the boat.
You guys use hula hoops in prison?
Yeah, you get on the boat with Lex Luthor, and Deathstroke is the one got there. He's like,
he looks cool.
Yeah, he's all right.
Cool.
And then he's like, Lex Luthor's like, I'm thinking about starting a league of my own. And that was pretty much it. It's like, a league of their own? It's like, there's no crying in baseball!
Dude, that was the next words out of my fucking mouth.
There's no crying in baseball!
Deathstroke looks cool, and I'm really excited because when he pulls off, it's actually Joe Manchin and all of them. And he was even saying, like, I don't know if I'm going to get this role or not, so he's definitely going to get it. It leaves a huge question, which would be its own video. Like, what the fuck are they going to do now?
Let's finish really quick. At the end, though, Steppenwolf gets fucked up by Superman. Superman fucks him up
it's
he's getting paid to do it, but he's not really getting paid. He's just having fun doing it.
Yeah, he's fucking him up. It's not even a battle. It's like Steven Seagal versus the big bad at the end. He just fucks his shit up.
It's like Steven Seagal versus that guy from fucking YouTube, like, regular can of backer? No, says I. Like, he's fucking him up, dude. And he's like, are you still having trouble with this guy? Like, he goes and says some videos. Are you still having trouble with this guy? Like, I took muscle milk. And he slams.
That's what I love, dude. They did not nerf Superman a bit.
He's badass. And then Steppenwolf finally gets attacked by his own minions because he gives into fear. And this boom tube comes down and he goes back up in it. But dude, Superman fucked him up. I mean, there was no chance at all. So Batman had a good plan. And but I'm gonna tell you what. When Darkseid comes down, it's fucking over. Omega beams.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that. We didn't get that in the bonus scenes. What we got was a cool little scene. We mentioned that the Flash versus Superman racing to the Pacific Ocean.
Which the Deathstroke thing is confusing because it's like it feels like Ben Affleck's not coming back. So that was the whole idea, was Deathstroke was going to be the Batman villain, but who knows what's going to happen. So comment on that below. Let us know what your all's thoughts are. But ultimately, though,
we'll mention. Well, I guess we already did the 2 bonus endings.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay, so yeah,
it's okay. We did it.
Now you guys.
Like I said, there's a ton of shit that happens in the movie. Ultimately, what I want to say about it, if you want to go and watch our like deep opinions on the movie, watch our regular review. But in a nutshell, I feel like this whole movie, I didn't want them to go the Marvel route. I wanted them to stay DC, and they don't listen to me because I'm just a little guy. And it felt like DC clashed with Marvel, and they tried to make it Marvel, but it was the DC characters, and it felt awkward, and it felt overtly CGI and just terribly looking at some points. But the actors did such a great job. Yeah. Every single one of them in their roles was great. Ben Affleck felt fucking weird, but put that up against his performance in Batman vs. I just don't know what's happening there. Apart from that, all the actors did great. And it was disappointing because we both had such high hopes for Justice League. It's a 6.5 for me. It's a movie that has a million problems, but the scenes that are great are so fucking great. You can't help but just be excited as a young boy.
I want it to be I want it to be good. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 ultimately. But you're right. The Marvel DC mixture just did not happen. It's like water and oil. It doesn't mix that fucking well, and you can't do that with what Snyder was going with. And when Joss Whedon came in, Joss Whedon tried again.
We don't know. We don't know.
You don't know where it started or where the left turn was, but you can definitely tell that something happened at some point in this production of this film that fucking changed the entire tone of the movie.
I don't want to cut you off, but I feel like it's important to ask this question right now. Question of the day: do you guys think? Because think about this. Like, I know that Joss Whedon came in later, and it's easy to point the finger at. Well, Joss Whedon came in, and that's where the clash comes. Oh no, you're not. But I'm just saying it's easy for anybody to do that. But think about it. After the backlash of Batman vs Superman, Zack Snyder and everybody on board was saying this next movie is going to be way lighter in tone, and it's going to be way more this and way more that. So. Do you guys think that the movie was already heading towards trying to appease too many people and being too Marvel? Or do you think that was Joss Whedon coming in and those two visions clashing? Which one do you think made this movie so fucking awkward?
I'm going to go with the latter. I'm going to think it's the fact that there's 2 different directors that have solely different ideas on how to approach that franchise. Yeah. But either way, I had a 7.5. I had a good time watching it. Like, ultimately, I had a good time watching it. I don't think it was what I wanted. I mean, it's definitely not what I wanted it to be. And I'm sure that some of you guys out there loved it. But it did not have the flavor that it needed to have. It did not have the ice crystal breakers in it. Yeah. And then fucking Ben Affleck felt like he was an Argo.
It was weird.
And he was trying to be Argo. Like, he's really a CIA agent undercover as Batman, but he's not really Batman.
It was weird.
I don't know what's going on, and I feel weird about this. I don't want to say it, but I think that Ben Affleck is not going to come back. Based on this movie, the way that he acted, the way that he portrayed Batman, I just have a fucking Jedi feeling, a very Jedi feeling. I went to Mark Hamill. I feel like he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Because there's rumors coming out that Jake Gyllenhaal is looking at, or the guy that wants to do the Batman is looking at Jake Gyllenhaal as the replacement.
And if he's going to the open and saying that, I think that means Ben Affleck.
And that's fine. If Ben Affleck is like, look, I'm done. Like, I mean, this is too fucking hard. I'm not anything against him, dude, because that would be a hard role for anybody to play.
I think he's ready to do more weighty, like thinky roles.
Well, I think he might just want to be a director too. So whatever. But it's still good. It's still a good movie. I think you guys should check it out if you hadn't seen it. Or
I'm sure there's like 4 of 10 things that we missed, but there's a lot of shit in this movie. So we just wanted to get to the main beef of it all. Where's the beef? So comment down below with your all's thoughts. We love your fucking faces. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some.
Goddamn wham.
What is that shit we used to eat back in the day?
Pussy.
Pussy. Get some goddamn wham.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.